the tube so we can monitor. There we are.
Hello.
Hello, guys.
Welcome to our cozy Friday night in.
It's our late night live stream. Very late if you're in the UK.
It's super late. We kind of planned this
Impromptu.
Because it's been a while. It always is, right? That's the story of our lives. But welcome and thank you for joining us. And I think we'll get started.
Yeah.
Oh, what we're doing is we are going to be reading an article that mi madre shared with me a few weeks ago. It's not that old. It was written on October 5th by Robin Shaper. And the title caught my eye because I've just been, this year has just been very, the word narcissism keeps popping up. And this particular article is called Eating Meat is Cultural Narcissism.
Yeah, let's
Very
see if we
interesting.
can throw that on screen.
Hi,
here.
Catherine Green. Thank you guys so much, by the way, for those of you who were with us on our last live stream. Thank you so much for all of the love and support you sent our way regarding Fireroo. We are feeling better. We actually were able to connect with Fireroo via our animal communicator friend, and that offered us quite a bit of closure. Also, his biopsy came back finally. Actually, I'll share this one bit with you guys because this comes to show.
Was the day of or the day after?
No, we spoke to Christine, is her name. We spoke to Christine, I think it was a Sunday. Yeah, it was a Sunday. And among the many beautiful spiritual things that we talked about regarding Fireroo, one of the things Fireroo said was that what he had was going to get worse quickly. And we were like, well, I was convinced that what he had was an injury. But on Monday, they called us from the vet after 3 weeks of waiting. And the biopsy results came back positive for oral squamous cell carcinoma. Yeah. So, what we think might have happened is because his leg wound was left to fester for so very long at the sanctuary, whatever ended up happening to his leg, like I think we got Antonio at an earlier stage. So Fireroo's leg went through the entire, the wound probably festered and ended up falling off and left a hole in his leg. And by then, squamous cell carcinoma doesn't usually metastasize, but if left untreated, it can. Yeah. And by then it had probably traveled to other parts of his body, including, in this case, his mouth.
And he was left untreated for months.
Months,
yeah.
Yeah.
At the sanctuary where we used to volunteer. And you also read that squamous cell carcinoma is a very common carcinoma in chickens?
It's probably the most common as far as I've read. And that's why his tongue was displaced. That's what was causing all of that. So either way, we would have had to pursue surgery, and who knows, maybe he would have
had to have gone under anesthesia for surgery. Instead he went under anesthesia for a second biopsy,
and that's when
he passed away.
We miss him terribly, terribly, terribly. Every time Antonio crows, I hear Fireroo's crow, and he is still very much in our hearts. Yeah. Antonio and Jackie are doing great. Antonio's leg arrives, his prosthetic arrives on Monday, and we've seen pictures of it. Yep. And it looks like a legit orthopedic solution, not like the plastic thing we showed you guys last time that they made for Fireroo.
Well, that they remade and kept saying it was a prototype.
Yeah, yeah.
Catherine says, "What do you mean he said it?" Fireroo said it through Christine, is what we mean. Christine is an animal communicator.
Her name is Christine Sang. She used to live in California, and now she's based out of New York, and she can connect with animals in their physical form or in their spiritual form. And we've been talking to her since I had Sweetie and Frisky, which is quite a few years. And every time, if you have any doubt in your mind, it is instantly, once you talk to her and once you get the whole picture of like what she gets from your companion, the information she gets from your companion, and it just I don't know how to explain it. It makes sense. Like, the simple way to explain it is, whoa, how would she know this? There's no way she would know this kind of thing, And
because you don't tell her anything about the situation.
She asks for a picture of them just to get a sense, and then she connects with them. And usually, if they've passed, she will connect with them 2 weeks after passing, because it's sort of the time frame that she established to allow for the transition to sort of fully, I don't know how time works, in that sense, but it is just the time that because, and it really works for us humans, because I think the 2-week period also helps us sort of like regroup a little bit and not be more receptive to the positive message behind our relationship with Fireroo, rather than, the first 2 weeks
rather than be stuck in grief.
Yeah, you're stuck in grief, you're stuck in regret, you're stuck in guilt.
Yeah.
You're crying all the time. I mean,
the first week especially was very, very difficult.
What are you doing with your chair? What? Do you not want to scooch? His chair is like.
Because I try to sit on the edge. Because if I sit back like this, I'll tend to like slump. But if I sit on the edge of my chair, it forces me to sit upright with better posture for the camera.
Well, anyways, so that is the latest on Fireroo.
And he also said that his ultimate goal was freedom, and he said he saw an opportunity to be completely free, and he took it when he was under. Yeah. And getting the biopsy results and knowing that, okay, well, this growth in his mouth or in his jaw or wherever, there was some lump under here somewhere that was pushing his tongue aside, like knowing that was a tumor and it would have just kept growing. It at least offers a little bit of like, okay, we didn't go through all of that for no reason. It wasn't an injury or a bacterial infection or something. It was definitely a carcinoma. Doesn't make it any less sad, but it makes me as a human feel like, okay, I feel like we tried to do the right thing. Yeah. And we weren't over prescribing or overdoing it.
We realized that it was more out of our control than we initially thought. Yeah. I mean, and this is just talking about his physical illness, because really the thing is, I don't know, I strongly believe that when an animal comes into your life, you've found it. This is my personal spiritual belief. Our souls have found each other, whether we were looking for each other from a previous life, or whether we are meeting for the first time to start a new journey together. Maybe you're only meeting for this one life and then you skip. I don't know. Like, I don't know what to believe. I imagine how like the possibilities. Because there are so many infinite possibilities of what this could all be. And Gracie, I don't know if I've even told you guys. Gracie has an amazing story, because I actually drew Gracie in the 7th grade. And I have I have to find that picture. I have it somewhere.
We made a video about it.
Oh,
Well, we
you
featured it in one of our videos.
Yeah, we did talk about it. Oh,
I forget which video. It's
it was
buried.
An early video, but
Where you show the drawing.
yeah, I show the drawing. I drew it in the seventh grade, and I met Gracie. Oh, you should see what she's doing right now. She's on her. You're showing your belly. I met her in 2013, 2012. You were a baby kitten. I was volunteering for dog and cat
What are you doing, baby me?
She's just being cute. She
Are
knows
you
we're
cute?
talking about her.
Are
But
you a
anyways,
cute
I
girl?
drew this picture of her. I didn't know I was drawing Gracie. I just drew a picture of a cat because we were in art class. And when I met Gracie for the first time and I was like photographing her, I was like, she looks so familiar. Like, I feel like I've met her before. And then I thought of this drawing and I went and pulled it out, and like her markings were...
She even had the
M and I
shape.
know like a lot of tabbies have M's on, like her markings are not fully unique for of course you're very unique, but
You're a unique kitten.
all tabbies are different, and some of her markings are like tabby markings, but I didn't know I was drawing a tabby. I was just drawing a kitten. It just so happened that I drew an M on her forehead. I drew this little like stripe across her eye. There was a little beauty mark spot that you had.
Her
that
necklace,
I drew.
right?
Her necklace.
Neck shape.
Yeah, her V-neck. Yeah, it was crazy, and I feel like Gracie sort of reached out to my subconscious, was like, ooh, I know how she'll know it's me, kind of thing. And yeah, she's one of the
You're a
most
beautiful
intense
girl,
loves
aren't you?
of my life.
Yes.
My baby May. Okay.
We have, let's check the chat and then we'll get into the article.
Yeah.
Beck Herrera says, when will you guys have another debate on modern day debate? Whenever someone challenges us to a debate, we're always open for one.
Yeah.
We so rare, like every video we make, we say this a lot, but every video we make is basically an open debate challenge. So if any non-vegans want to debate us on the topic of veganism, you can email us, thoseannoyingvegans@gmail.com.
You'd be happy
You
to
can
chat.
you can email James at Modern Day Debate. We know James; he knows us very well. He'll set it up. It's just that, like a lot of the times, meat eaters will want to like leave trolly comments, but then they never actually want to show their face on camera and actually debate you, because that's actually a new rule I think that James started implementing. Was he wants to reduce the number of people who debate without a camera on.
Yeah.
Because it's not as nice. Like it's not as good for the viewer to just have one face debating like a still frame.
Yeah.
It's just sort of like,
kind of bizarre.
Yeah.
Face-to-face conversation's always best.
Yeah.
And here we go. Let's start.
Okay.
I don't know how long it's been. Do we have a running
It has been about 13 minutes
so
far.
discussion? We'll make a note of it
Now
in
is
the comments.
when we...
Now is when we begin at 13 minutes.
All right.
Here it is. Eating meat is cultural narcissism. I will begin reading. We have not read this article yet, so it is our first time with you right now, and Gracie is ready.
Gracie May!
We're becoming increasingly aware of narcissism, but few of us know that it doesn't only apply to individuals. Collective and cultural narcissism also exist. The problem is, however, that this can be hard to see when it's part of our own culture. So I'm going to unpack exactly how the meat industry and other animal industries engage in collective narcissism, and how society's support for these industries is a form of cultural narcissism.
Very quickly, do you want to go back here and then read from there?
Oh, yeah, I can do that.
That way we can,
But
we
I
can have a
can't-
monitor.
No. Well,
It's okay. I mean, that's fine too.
so just so far, it does seem narcissism just seems to be on the rise. I don't know if it has to do with social media and all of that. You know, we've talked about this before. A lot of narcissism on social media. A lot of me, my needs, my wants, my this, my that. I'm just kind of tired of it all.
I mean, I think it's...
Most narcissists don't know that they're narcissists.
Yeah, I think that there's a...
Which makes it tricky to treat, sorry.
Tricky to treat.
Tricky to treat.
Is that what you're going to say to all the trick-or-treaters?
Tricky
when they knock on our door? You're so tricky to treat. Here's some Sour Patch Kids, which are vegan. I think that human beings, like, we're kind of... I don't know how to phrase it exactly. It's like human beings, yes, we are sort of selfish, like children and toddlers. Like if you're around toddlers, children, like you realize very quickly, like children are super mean to each other. They are just like ego? It's like the self-serving part of the mind. Yeah. They are just like pure that. You know what I mean? They're like, that's my toy, give it. You can't have it.
Yeah,
no.
They haven't been socialized.
You know, there's no socialization going on. Then
survival of the fittest.
Yeah, and as you grow up and you realize, oh, I need things like love and affirmation and connection, like friends, family, because we are a social species. We have survived based on societies. We're not isolated. Like human beings aren't like tigers who go and they hunt and they live solo. Mm-hmm. Human beings traditionally live in groups. We're social. We're apes.
Communes.
Yeah. So it is sort of in your own self-interest to do what's right for the group, because then the group will be more accepting and loving of you. So there's this sort of like relationship there. But I think the corporatization and the commercialization and all the companies that want to sell us things, what they've tapped into ever since the 80s, when I blame Burger King, by the way. I completely blame Burger King for have it your way. Have it your way started all of this nonsense. It used to be like, here's the menu, pick something or go home. Burger King was like, no, we'll just customize it to you, whatever you want. And then every other company...
That's actually the hospitality industry for you.
Yeah.
Because I almost majored in hospitality. And that is, and I worked at a restaurant. I mean, anyone who's worked at a restaurant is very, very catery to the consumer. To obscene levels, to like where it was like 11:59 p.m. and we'd be about to shut the door and someone walks in.
Yeah. Now you're open for another 90 minutes.
Yeah, the poor waiter or waitress is server has to stay up for another hour or two.
But I think as our technology has grown, the ability to serve that egotistical part of the mind has gotten more and more specific. Mm-hmm. It used to be like, you can come in and order anything off the menu, or you can make up your own thing and we'll make it your way. Now everyone has a little device in their pocket with a GPS system and basically a movie theater and a telephone and a TV, and you have a social media network, and you can create your own emoji that looks like you, and you can have your own avatar, and you can choose how you want your screen to be displayed, and you can just think, I want to watch this movie, and it's there. It's insane.
In other words, we are spoiled AF.
Yes.
I mean, everyone, not just
and companies
meat eaters,
know that.
But we're talking about meat eaters in this particular scenario, although I will admit that we are all pretty spoiled and often entitled, and I will admit to that myself. Like Louis C.K. had that whole bit about the internet.
It's going to space. Give it a second.
When you're like, oh, this page won't open. He's like, it's going to space. Give it.
Well, I just mean it says collective and cultural narcissism exist, and that is definitely a display of that.
So moving on. If you eat or use animal products yourself, then please read this with an open mind. My goal is not to call you a narcissist, but to arm you with information so we can end this form of cultural narcissism together. Mm-hmm. You can go ahead.
Objectification. 2/3 of U.S. households have at least one cat, one dog, or other companion animal. We don't expect these animals to do anything for us. They're valued purely for their company. Often they're considered part of the family, and we recognize that they each have their own unique personality, and we love them for it. In the animal industries, however, the exact opposite happens. One of the core traits of narcissism, treating others like objects, is expressed to its fullest extent here. Hi, baby May. The industries don't bring animals into the world to love them, but to kill them and to sell their bodies. They literally turn living beings who are just as sentient as cats and dogs into products. The animal's desire to stay alive isn't even factored into the decision, only how much they weigh and when they are killed.
That is very akin to the poster I just designed. We'll talk about that later. But it's essentially, it is not a choice. What you eat is not a choice when there is a victim involved. We've said this many times. It is not a choice to eat animals because their decision. No animal wants to die. No living being wants to die. Everyone fights for their lives. So anyone who says, "Oh, yeah, I eat meat because I want to. It's my choice, my personal math."
Yeah, I mean that's just I think it goes to show you the level of cultural indoctrination, because you would never just, we bring up the example all the time. If you just sub in a cat or a dog for a cow or a chicken, and you just say like, "Oh, well, I enjoy kicking puppies. I just love the way it sounds when they squeal in pain. Like I just really enjoy that form of sensory pleasure. So I'm just going to kick puppies because I like it." It's like, that sounds insane.
Yeah.
But
there are people out there
torturing and killing animals because you like the way they taste, which is just another sensory pleasure. Yeah. It's taste versus hearing. That is perfectly fine. So it's an inconsistency. And the only way you have that sort of like wild inconsistency is because you grew up in a culture where it's normal.
Mm-hmm. Entitlement and grandiosity. Entitlement is about taking what isn't ours. Their bodies, our bodies. Their bodies, our bodies. And if there's one thing that isn't ours, it's someone else's life. Taking a life is the most extreme form of entitlement. Even if it was an us or them situation, the idea that animals should die for us would still be entitled, but it would be understandable. However, that's not even remotely the case. To quote the largest organization of nutrition experts in the U.S., it is a position of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics that appropriately planned vegan diets are healthful, nutritionally adequate, and may provide health benefits for the prevention and treatment of certain diseases. These diets are appropriate for all stages of the life cycle, including pregnancy, lactation, infancy, childhood, adolescence, older adulthood, and for athletes. So not only are all animal products unnecessary, cutting them out of our diet can actually benefit our health. And the average person has access to a wide variety of plant-based food. We even have plant-based products that look and taste like animal products. So the industries aren't killing trillions of animals for us out of any kind of necessity. The fact that even under these circumstances, they feel entitled to kill as many animals as they want so we can eat as many animals as we want can only be described as grandiosity.
Yeah.
Now that Thanksgiving is in the coming up, a very common phrase that comes to mind, particularly with homesteaders, is well, and anybody, sitting at the table and thanking the animal for their sacrifice. Grandiosity.
Very, very narcissistic.
Holy moly. Really?
That's literally like...
Check it out. We made a video. It should be on... It's probably still on YouTube. Let me look it up.
When people kill their own turkey for the first time?
It's Turkey Killing Day.
Turkey Killing Day.
That's what it's called. And I think the one of the folks in the compilation tried to take our video down.
Oh yeah, they reported it as
YouTube flagged us
copyright.
for a minute, and we were like, no, it's commentary. We're back up. But
Yeah.
that is one of the common threads that, you know, assuming that animals are here for us,
Yep.
that we are owed something.
Well, I think what it is, I mean, I find that extra disgusting because it's almost like in that moment what you're doing is you are acknowledging the fact that this life that you've just taken, completely senseless, completely unnecessary, purely for a cultural tradition. We have no need to kill this many turkeys every single year. So what do we do as human beings? We go, how can I stop this feeling bad in me that I feel right now? Because I feel bad, but I also want to eat this animal's corpse. They made a sacrifice. They've made a sacrifice.
And as long as we show gratitude,
for me.
As long as we are grateful.
Yes.
Aww.
Now,
Then
everything's over.
fine.
Yeah.
Then everything's fine. Okay.
Gracie May. You're giving a kiss to Aria Rose.
Kiss, kiss. No hissing, please.
Maisel.
Gracie and Aria have been having a tiff.
No, they're
Little
good friends.
They're good when they want to be.
They're great friends.
So yeah, it's just this idea that we can do what we want. And here's this.
Gracie May.
Pardon us. It's okay.
It's
okay.
okay.
She's just walking through.
She's
Gracie.
just walking by.
No one's gonna take your
Hey.
spotlight.
You're here, my love.
All right. Just connecting with you guys.
Gracita.
Gracie May.
Gracita.
Gracie May, we're gonna have to put someone in a bedroom.
Mi amor. Mi
Yeah,
amor.
the corporate business world really does not care about balance. That's true. Like
No.
companies aren't, you know.
Well,
I would
they're
say it's-
designed to. Businesses are designed for one thing: to make a profit. That's what they're designed for.
Catherine Green back when, yeah. So you know what it's like to work in a restaurant and have that happen. Yeah, we are all narcissists. The difference is in the intensity of it. that's a pretty. I don't know because I know there are some people on this planet that all they want to do is.
It's okay.
Okay, now how about we
Hold
go
on.
let's go put someone in maybe Gracie.
Come here, Gracie.
Pardon us.
Do you
She's
mind?
like, no.
Do you mind going around?
Yeah, hold on 1 second before
on.
they start
Hold on here, Aria Rose.
a situation. I
Yes,
know.
baby
We're
me.
gonna be mad at mommy for a little bit.
It's okay,
I
Gracita.
know.
It's okay.
That's part. Can you stretch my cable?
Oh, sorry.
I
Yes.
think I'm tangled.
Hold on.
Okay, baby me, let's just go in here. I know you don't want to. There you go. We'll be back soon. Okay. Just to avoid any conflicts. Do you want to
Rosita.
be in the spotlight now, Rose?
You want to be on camera now, Aria?
Okay.
Baby bear. Aria's my little
But,
black bear.
Yeah, I think, if you really read about narcissism, there's a lot of, because it's such a problem nowadays. You know, there is such a thing as victims of narcissism, and survivors of narcissism,
Right.
people who have had to literally find ways to escape from relationships that are narcissistic, and that's what, you know, veganism is one of those relationships. Or we had a relationship with eating meat. I don't know if that's a good way to put it, but we had to break away from that relationship, and now when you break away from a narcissistic relationship, it's like a breath of fresh air. Don't you feel that way for those of you who are vegan, who have awakened? It just feels like you made it you made it to the other side. And oh my god, I thought that was an earthquake, Brian.
Sorry.
But anyways, so anything to add before we move on?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So you can continue. Yeah.
Next paragraph, the rules don't apply to them. Because of the animals we share our homes with, we do have some animal protection laws, but even though the industries house far more animals, I guess, than they house more than we do in our homes, they consistently manage to get exemptions from these laws. Kicking a cat is illegal, but killing a chicken is legal. Standard practices like keeping animals in confined spaces their entire lives and cutting off testicles and tails without anesthesia would be illegal if done to dogs, but are legal when done to pigs because they are standard practices. So the fact that they always abuse animals in these ways is used as a justification to keep doing it. Yeah. So that's just how we do it. Thus, it's okay to do it, which is kind of insane logic.
Well, I mean, along that logic, just because we've been murdering, not we, but people have been murdering each other for centuries, means it's okay to still do so.
I guess we just keep doing it. Yeah.
I mean, that could have...
Or men have always been in charge and women have always been second-class citizens, so I guess we just keep doing it that way, right?
Yeah, see, the logic has to apply across all similar or all like circumstances.
Yeah. But it's bad for the industry's image if people see this, and the industries also don't like the few restrictions that they do have. So
ag laws.
Yeah, so they have actually managed to get so-called ag laws passed. These laws make it illegal for people, even for employees, to expose the animal abuse that goes on inside. And in some states, these laws have been overturned because they're unconstitutional and make investigative journalism illegal. But various states and countries still have them, and the industries continue to push for them, of course.
You gotta wonder, if you're not doing anything wrong, if what you're doing is going to be okay, they know that what they're doing is not going to be okay for people to see. They're not going to want to buy the product.
Exactly.
Because people love to live in ignorance. They profit off of people's ignorance.
Yep.
I mean,
why is it? Why do you think is it that it's actually common for people to tour, for example, like breweries
or
vineyards?
Orchard.
Yes.
But try calling a slaughterhouse and asking for a tour. They're going to hang up the phone on you.
But when you're just showing someone, here's how we make beer, there's no animal abuse. So sure, they'll take you through the brewery, whatever. I'll finish this up here. In other words, if they abuse animals and you film them, then you are the criminal. Yeah. This is nothing short of gaslighting by law, which is another thing that narcissists do.
Yeah, it's telling you that you are the crazy one when in fact they are the crazy ones.
Yeah,
evasion is a form of gaslighting. Like, when you ask someone a question, this happens a lot, by the way, in the comment sections of various social media outlets. Notice that when you ask someone a question pertaining to veganism or animal rights or ethics, it is very common, almost 90% of the time, this is not a mathematical statistic, but in my personal experience, I would estimate that most of the time, meat eaters will evade the question. They will not answer it. They will change the topic, and all of a sudden you're like jumping from point A to point D to point L, and you're like, hold on, you didn't answer my question. This and this and this. And they still won't answer the question. And it just feels like you're going insane. But it's not you. It's not you.
It's a very common debate tactic when the person knows that they will be beaten on the ideas alone. Actually, Sam Harris had a recent section of a podcast that a lot of people on political shows that I watch were referencing, where people are like, why don't you just have Jordan Peterson on and debate him? And he was like, well, the problem is that it's way easier to make a mess than to clean one up. And so when you debate someone on something like mask mandates or COVID vaccine, blah, 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 what they can do is they can just pepper the conversation with a whole bunch of red herrings and nonsense. And if you don't have a response to every single one of those things, then the audience comes off thinking like you're not prepared.
Yeah.
But the truth is like, you can just make things up. If someone's like, well, I want to argue for veganism, and someone's like, well, did you see the study on this tribe of people in Iraq with sheep herding and the fact that they live blah, 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 and you go, no, I didn't read that. Oh, you didn't read that? You didn't read that? Really? And you're debating veganism? And now it's like you're on the defensive and you're like, wait a minute, that has nothing to do with this topic. They'll just and then when you address nutrition, they'll move on to fitness. And then if you address fitness, they'll move on to climate. And then if you address climate, so it's this evasion, like you're saying. It's the evasion of the core idea.
Making you feel like the crazy one is a form of manipulation. So this is a way to manipulate a conversation, manipulate other people's thoughts about you, about veganism. So yeah, watch out for that, and know, like, really, like, look into this, because it's really interesting. There's a whole psychology behind it.
Want to go for this paragraph?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm on the wrong. Whoops! I just paused our video. There we go. And that's not it.
Lack of empathy.
Nope, that's not it either. Okay. Lack of empathy. Practically everything I've mentioned so far shows a lack of empathy. If they had empathy for the animals, they wouldn't needlessly kill them, and the industries wouldn't exist. The lack of empathy is so pronounced that even documentaries that simply show the standard practices in the industries, like Dominion,
which is linked in every single one of our videos in the comments,
are hard to watch for most people. I still recommend you watch it, though. It's available here for free.
Yeah. And we have the same link in our description.
It's free.
It's free. You can watch
free.
it.
If you don't want to watch it, then ask yourself why. But what I think showcases a lack of empathy even better are the pictures people in these industries take themselves and share among each other as entertainment. Here are 14 examples. The story continues after. Yeah, so you got some dude.
So here's some guy. He's planking on a cow, on a downed cow. Looks like he's planking on a downed cow.
This kid is holding a chicken between two
pieces of bread.
This guy is holding a sheep upside down. I'm pretty sure sheep don't like to be on their backs in that position. And friends with benefits is also very demeaning. Can you move that? These guys in a car are laughing.
These guys they're holding a sheep
with their
laughing.
Yeah. This other guy's holding a burger in front of a cow who is enslaved.
Yep.
And it says that was her mom. Like, how?
Yep. He's eating this cow's mother in front of her. You know.
Well, not necessarily, but he's just making a joke.
Or he could be, if they killed the cow on their farm and they made burgers. I mean, it's totally possible. But whether it's actually this cow's mom or not, you're bragging to a child that you killed and are consuming their parents.
Yeah. Girls lining up to shift me under mistletoe. I don't know what the hell. I have one on my phone. I was cleaning out my phone today, and I found one that I can show you. And I'll just describe it, because then I have to look for it. But you can keep scrolling.
There's
a turkey in an oven.
Just making sure the turkey fits. A turkey standing on an oven door. That's hilarious.
Oh my God! This guy put a cigarette in
a sheep's mouth.
That's
put like ski goggles on the sheep or something. Time to go into the fields in the sky.
Time to go to the fields.
To the fields in the sky. They're loading a cow onto a slaughter truck.
Or to be bolt gunned in the head.
Yeah.
Planking over a bunch of babies.
Yeah.
Sure they like that. She's getting my pipe tonight.
So they're going to artificially inseminate, aka RAPE.
But there's a pipe.
This cow. I think he's making a joke there, and This guy says he's digging for gold while having his arm completely inside the anus of a cow. So he's...
Or a sheep. It could
Or a
be
sheep.
a sheep.
Sticking your arm up to your shoulder in the anus of another animal. That's bizarre, to say the least.
What does that say?
This says, they're marking sheep, fair, queer, and mart.
Oh,
They drew a picture of a
penis on
penis on the back of a sheep. Hilarious. This is peppered steak slice, even tastier. Holding it up in front of a cow.
Yeah. Well, before you scroll, hold on one second. The photo I have on my phone, which I don't know if I could even show it to you because it wouldn't translate, is of a marriage proposal at a dairy farm. So this dairy farmer proposed to his fiance, and on a cow's ear tag, it said, "Will you marry me?" Or and it just
using an enslaved being to propose to someone. Okay. I mean, it just goes to show you like how incredibly indoctrinated people are.
Yeah.
I mean, most farmers, they're not, like, we don't dislike farmers just for being farmers. But look at what our culture has done to farmers. Like, look at what this insatiable...
It starts, I mean, and it gets passed down from generation to generation. You'll see, by the way, in our turkey killing day video, how indoctrination starts at a very young age with people, homesteaders, farmers, teaching their kids, like giving them accolades when they abuse animals, which they couch as, "Oh, you're a strong, what a strong young man, what a, good job, like you're helping out, you're doing something good," when really the child has no idea. Like parents, I feel parents are responsible for teaching right and wrong. You tell a child looks for a parent's approval, and when you give your a child approval for doing the wrong thing, they're going to grow up, they're going to lack empathy. They're not going to understand. It's like I feel like children are naturally compassionate, and sometimes people put a stopper on that compassion. Or redirect it, and that can get really confusing.
Well, I think people see the compassion that's inherent in the child.
Yeah.
When the child is like, wait, I don't want to shoot this cow or this turkey, or I don't want to slit the throat of this chicken. Then the parent is like, oh, I don't think I do either, but I was, psychologically abused in this way as a child, and thus I have to sort of continue that.
Well, this is all subconscious.
Yeah, no one's thinking it actively, but I think what the thought process that's going on there is, yes, I too once felt the same way this child did, and I was coerced out of that way of thinking, and so I'll just help coerce you out of that way of thinking, and then we'll just go on abusing animals, and everything will be fine.
Jamie Douglas, hi.
Yeah, Jamie Douglas, aren't you in Scotland?
You are up very late. Well, thank you for being here. The view is nice. Okay. Okay, let's continue.
Oh, is that a Scottish brand of steak slice?
Oh, Ginster. Oh, he's talking about the. Oh,
yeah,
I was like, what?
It's got the Scottish flag,
or
some version of a Scottish flag.
Oh, I see.
I think.
Let's continue.
So we'll continue.
Let me see how far. We have a little ways to go. Do you mind? Well, how about this? We'll read then, because I have to put the kids to bed. The kids, meaning the chickens. It's 7 p.m. is their bedtimes because they're chickens.
Well, we can. Do you want to finish? How much more? Oh, I see.
It's a little bit.
It wasn't that long.
No,
okay.
I said I retracted it after. I don't know if you heard that part.
Oh, I
but
see.
We can
That
just
was a retraction.
can have you read this next part and then have you do the discussion while I go put Tony to bed.
Sure.
Okay. And then Jackie.
You want me to read this part? Okay.
Oh, didn't I? Is it my turn?
No, I can go.
Is it my turn?
I don't know. I'll go.
Oh, no, it is my turn. Wait.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, no, it's your turn.
Okay. Taking credit while being counterproductive. So the people in the animal industries consistently refer to themselves as farmers. And often they emphasize that they're feeding the world. In reality, however, we would have more food without them. This is not something most people are aware of, so allow me to explain. Crop farmers actually produce food. They start with seeds and soil and sunlight, and they end up with something that we can eat. But the same can't be said for the animal industries. Animals need to eat, just like us. So for all of the plants' rights activists out there that are concerned with plant death, hot take, a 1-ton cow eats more food than a 150-pound human being. Hot take. I know that's a hot take.
Oh, the average 25 pounds of grain a day.
Yeah, one cow usually eats 25 pounds of food a day.
A little more if they're pregnant.
Which is a little bit more than your average human being. So animals need to eat just like us, and just like us, they use most of their food to maintain their bodies and only part of it to grow. So the industries actually need to feed a pig 5 pounds of plant-based food grown by a crop farmer just to get 1 pound of meat. So by definition, they end up with significantly fewer calories and fewer nutrients than what they started with. That's not food production, that's food waste. Yes, the same can be said for a cow. Cows eat 25 pounds of food in a day. And how many pounds of meat do you get out of a cow versus how many pounds of food do you feed the cow over the 2 years or 4 years, however long you let the cow live? That's 25 pounds a day times 365 times 2, 4, 7, however many years the cow. Yeah. If it's a dairy cow, they let them live 5, 6, 7 years because they exploit them for their milk first and then they kill them. Yep. It's a lot of food and water.
Pardon me, excuse me. I'm going to start putting Bubby to
bed.
Go.
You want to bring him on the camera real quick?
Yeah, I'll bring him because he's...
Antonito.
At bedtime. At a bedtime?
Antonito. Antonito.
Do you hear him? Listen
My boy.
Listen to his coos. This is bedtime coos.
Bobby.
Ready for bed, my boy? Here, let's go say hi to everybody for a little bit. And then Mommy's going to put you to bed. Tony's so cute. Did you know roosters like to nest as well?
Hi, my boy.
He makes his nest.
Hi, my boy.
This is Babaloo.
Who's my bubs?
My big bubs.
Who's my big bubby?
You see everybody
big bubby.
is here to see you.
Hey, Big Handsome. His nickname is Big Handsome because he's big and handsome.
I call him Bubs.
So he's big handsome. Look at that comb and those wattles. You're a very healthy chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
He's ready for bed. So
you're excited for your new patita on Monday?
I'm
very
supposed to get here on Monday.
You can see. I don't know if you can see because our screen is small, but he's molting.
Yeah, they've been molting for a month or so. It's lots of feathers everywhere. But he's growing all these new feathers, so fluffy now. He's see all this new feather growth? I don't know if you can see it.
It's very I'll just go ahead and do this.
Oh yeah. Make it a big screen.
There we go.
There you see. Yeah, all these new feathers.
These brand new feathers coming in big and fluffy.
New eyebrow feathers too. I don't know if you can see his eyebrows. Hi, baby Rose.
Hey, kitten. Are you going to bed, big chicken?
Yeah, we're going to go to bed.
It is bedtimes. Do you need to de-mic? I think so.
Will I reach? No, I won't reach.
I doubt it.
I'm going to de-mic for a second. This is very...
Doop.
There we go. Okay.
Okie dokie. Good night, my handsome boy. I love you. So I will return to the chat for just a second. Yeah, I'm just catching up with people in the chat. Marianne Rudder says, wow, this is really interesting. You're putting words to things I've been experiencing recently. Have you been experiencing the narcissism recently? I think Marianne says she's been experiencing it recently. Yes, there is a YouTuber, Dr. Ramani. I believe it's Ramani. She's a doctor, but she has a YouTube channel. And she focuses on narcissists and narcissistic relationships and how to handle someone with narcissistic personality disorder, what behaviors you can expect from a narcissist, etc., etc. Perpetually annoyed, hello. Hi, you're late. It's okay. This is the internets. You can always go back and rewatch from the beginning. Matthew Smith says, hello, I saw you at Texas shopping mall buying cow meat. What? It's funny seeing is that we do not live in Texas, nor do we go to shopping malls to buy meat. Shopping malls to buy meat. Matthew, I know you're trolling, but come on. Mox Mix says, right, Matthew, we all believe you. Yeah. Perpetually Annoyed says he's so cute. That's because he is, Big Bubby. Big Handsome is very cute. Rebecca says, such beautiful feathers. Yes, Bubby has some of the most beautiful feathers. He is called a barred rock chicken, which is a northeastern breed of chicken. Barred meaning the black and white stripes on his feathers look like bars. So it's sort of an even black, white, black, white, black, white speckled look, but the white feathers and the black feathers actually line up in stripes. So they're called barred rock or Plymouth rock. And interestingly enough, males have sort of even black and white stripes. Females have predominantly black stripes with a few white stripes in between. So easy way to distinguish males from females in the barred rock breed. That is before they're sexually mature. Once they hit puberty, males, obviously, they get the big combs and the big wattles and they start crowing. That's also a dead giveaway. Benjamin Hansen says epic troll fail. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what that means. Like, I saw you in Texas at a shopping mall buying meat. Okay. We can continue.
Yes, I'm gonna put Jackie
Our
to bed now as well.
article. Oh, we'll bring Jacqueline.
And I'll bring her.
Jacquelina.
Let me get her diaper ready.
Sometimes I call Jacqueline Jacquelina because our niece calls Anna Tia Conina, which is sort of like a, yeah, it's when Anna was a baby, instead of saying Ana Carolina, she would say Ana Conina. And so now that she's an aunt, she's called Tia Conina. And now I call Jacqueline Jacquelina. Information that you may or may not have wanted to hear on this live stream. Hello, my beautiful bird. Who's my bird?
Jacqueline's going to bed too.
Who's my bird? Look at this beautiful girl. You're my princess.
There's so many lights. I know Jackie gets to
Whoa, Jacqueline. Hi, beautiful girl.
Baby girl.
Jacqueline is our youngest baby, aren't you? You're our baby.
No, it's so bright.
You're our little baby.
I know.
Oh boy, it's so bright. I know.
We're gonna go to bed. Oh,
It's okay.
I know.
I know it's late, my sweetheart.
Papa do. Okay, let's go to bed. Good night.
Good night, my princess. Give a beso.
Jacqueline.
I give you a beso.
You're gonna go to bed.
Good night, my sweetheart. I love you, chicken. Okay, let's continue. Whoops. It will help if I had the article still pulled up. There we go. So continuing on in the article here, So the whole claim that they're producing food for us is incorrect. The previous paragraph discussed how farmers who farm crops are actually the ones who take seeds, put them in soil, use sunlight and water to create food, and then that food is then fed to animals to produce fewer calories than the calories that they were fed. So it's actually a net negative. So the whole claim that animal farmers are producing food is incorrect. Just like it's incorrect that they're producing protein. Animals simply recycle the protein that is already in their plant-based food, and as we've discussed on this channel many times, all protein starts in plants. It is all plant-based. Animals consume plants and use the protein that's in the plants to maintain, repair, and build their muscle tissue. They use it for their bodies, but they don't create protein. We consume protein. And the same goes for calcium in dairy. Cows don't make calcium, they get it from their plant-based food. Exactly. So calcium, again, it exists in plants. Animals eat the plants, they obtain the calcium, and now there is calcium in their bodies. So yes, if you kill an animal who has eaten calcium-rich plants and then you eat their corpse, you will be eating calcium. But that doesn't mean that it's a good source of calcium or that it's a necessary source of calcium. Worldwide, all of the land used by the food industries, 19% is used to grow crops for direct human consumption, and 81% is used to produce animal products. However, we get 83% of our calories from plant-based foods, and only 17% of our calories from animal products. That's how wasteful the animal industries are. And because of the simple fact that animals produce more poop than they produce meat, the animal industries also produce the most pollution. We talk about this a lot. The fact that, when you confine 20,000, 30,000 chickens or 10,000 pigs or however many thousand cows, those animals, they still have all of their bodily functions. They still pee, they still poop, they still vomit, they still sweat, they still bleed when their bodies are mutilated against their will with no anesthesia. All of those secretions, they go somewhere, and those are called lagoons. So usually the floors of these facilities are graded, and all of the liquid and semi-liquid materials that go into these, what they're called lagoons, pink lagoons. You can watch the documentary Speciesism, that's also free on YouTube. And you can see aerial drone footage of these lagoons. So you'll see a factory farm full of pigs or chickens, and then right next to it you'll see a big pink body of water. That is a body of, not water, it's urine, feces, blood, other bodily secretions that they then spray into the air to disperse it, polluting the neighborhoods around them. And the neighborhoods around them are usually lower income people of color who can't afford to live in more expensive places where there aren't factory farms. So the animal agriculture industries, they are responsible for 60% of the food industry's greenhouse gases, and on top of that, they're also major contributors to ocean dead zones, deforestation, and new antibiotic-resistant infectious diseases. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I yawned.
You put your hand over your mouth a little bit because you just looked like the painting, the Scream painting.
Did I?
Yeah.
That's what I was going for. I mean, it's 7:19 p.m. here. It's getting late.
Well, actually, we've been going to bed.
We've been going to bed at like 9:30. So.
Because the bubby starts growing at 5. Yeah. So we've gotten into his.
Usually up around 5 or 5:30.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Go out onto the deck and do some weightlifting. Financial entitlement. You want to start there?
Financial entitlement. Here we go. Mox Mix will answer your question after financial entitlement, because that is a legit question. We have a legit answer. Financial entitlement. Because they take more steps to end up with less food, animal products cost more money to produce than plant-based products.
Of course.
So for anyone out there saying that plant-based food is more expensive,
yeah, Why do you think you can get a 25-pound bag of rice for like $9? Like, come on.
So the animal industries feel entitled to subsidies, and through persistent lobbying, they manage to get billions of dollars in subsidies every year. Even though the USDA recognizes that we don't need any animal products and acknowledges that most people don't eat enough fruit and vegetables, they spend 52% of all subsidies on animal products and animal feed crops, while spending only 2% on fruit and vegetables. The subsidies are completely at odds with their own recommendations, just to appease the animal industries. And of course, society also pays the bill for the environmental and healthcare costs caused by these industries.
Manipulation. The reason these industries are getting widespread support is because we're all being manipulated, and we have been manipulated since we were children. Part of this is done by the industries themselves, who spend millions of dollars on advertising every single day. They have no problem killing an animal, putting their dead body in a box with a toy and some fries, and using a clown to promote it, and calling it a Happy Meal. Children cannot see through that kind of manipulation if adults don't point it out. And that's the other part of the problem, is that most adults not only act as enablers who actively pay the industries to kill animals for them, but those who are parents also act like flying monkeys.
Also a term in the narcissistic community, flying monkeys.
Yes, they manipulate their own children into supporting these industries.
Flying monkeys are anyone the narcissist manipulates to do their dirty work for them. Granted, parents in this case, I don't think know or are aware consciously all the time that they are doing dirty work per se. But
no, it's what they grew up with, so then they do it.
But they are doing, essentially subconsciously doing the dirty work for the animal ag industries.
Go there, parents?
Parents start feeding their children meat before they can talk, which is
sadly true.
Such a problem, because you cannot explain to a child what goes into
an infant, or a toddler,
what goes into putting chicken nuggets on their plate. What goes into putting meatloaf or whatever children get fed. Or is our Thanksgiving, our other Thanksgiving video still up?
Yes.
Or did they
it's there.
They took it down from Instagram.
Babies
but still up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Babies
eating turkey
for the first time.
Yeah.
Just watch it, because
usually results in the baby making a wincy face and not enjoying
other things. So it's different when you feed your child, say, I don't know, squash or carrots. You can tell them where these carrots came from. They came from the ground. Someone picked them. Hopefully, you're buying from your small local farms and or farmers markets. Hopefully, the average person in big cities has access to some organic produce.
But even if you're just buying it at the grocery store, ultimately these were plants that were planted, and then they were picked, and then they were put on a truck, and they were driven to the grocery store.
Yes. I'm just saying you have more control in terms of like who is working the farms
if you buy direct.
If you buy local and direct.
Or from a farmer's market.
But so it says here, the children get used to eating animal products for years without realizing that animals are being killed for them. And all this time, their love for animals is actually encouraged. They grow up with Piglet, Peppa Pig, and petting zoos while unknowingly eating actual pigs. I am a living example of this, because my mom has been an animal lover since I've known her. I was an animal lover since I was a child. I was the one who wanted to be a veterinarian. I preferred to be out in the backyard, like in nature, versus playing with toys inside. Like, I really, really loved animals. And anyone in my family will tell you this. Yet, there I was eating animals. There, my mom was eating animals. She no longer eats animals, by the way. She's been vegan for a while now. But, you know, we do this without realizing it, without making the connection that our actions are causing the beings that we have learned to love, that these actions are causing them pain and a great amount of suffering. Moving on. What they, children, learn about farm animals is propaganda. Pictures and stories about happy animals living harmoniously on farms and giving us eggs, milk, and meat. The farms look nothing like the buildings and cages where animals actually live. The male chicks who get killed because they don't lay eggs are never covered. The calves who are taken away from their mothers so we can drink their milk are never covered. And the slaughterhouses where they all get killed are never covered. Some children do actually see through the manipulation and want to stop eating animals. But usually that just leads to more manipulation. For example, they are told that the animals are already dead anyway, so they might as well eat them, as if that's a reason to keep paying the industries to kill animals. Or they are told lies, like that the animals are treated well and killed painlessly after a happy life, and that animal products are necessary to stay healthy. If all of that fails and child still resists, parents often simply fall back on force. You know, if you don't eat your dinner, you go to bed without eating, kind of thing. Or something I've seen, which is the parent I don't know how often this happens. I hope not often, but I have seen videos of parents belittling their children or making fun of them or teasing them for showing compassion.
Yep.
This manipulation that starts in childhood continues in adulthood. Companies shamelessly market the bodies of animals that they abused and killed with photos, videos, and drawings of happy animals. Organizations that claim to want to protect animals still condone killing them. Journalists consistently present the hard-working farmer narrative and never ask them basic questions like, how can you say you love these animals when you're killing them all? And while anyone can post pictures on social media of the meat they eat, footage that actually shows how the animals lived and died immediately gets covered with a graphic content warning.
Yep. Which may or may not have been how our Instagram channel got taken down. We still were never given any clarity on that. We were just told we violated terms, quote unquote, and never...
So happy, by the way, that happened.
Yeah.
The universe knows.
It's good.
Because it is so much freeing without that.
I go on Instagram sometimes for my job because my job has an Instagram account, and it's almost like when if you ever like, well, I don't know, because if you're on Facebook all the time, you don't have this, but like I haven't used Facebook in...
We're going to delete it. I think
5 years, 6 years.
It.
Like it's sometimes when you go on, and I go on Facebook for my job, I use my job's account, and I'm like, oh my God, I remember this.
The second you open it, it's like a... Bleh,
I remember
feels heavy.
this.
It's like, first of all, the censoring, the filtering, the everything is just so fake.
It's just like, yeah, it's just like political outrage, cultural outrage.
Yeah, and just like content that is literally catered to you and your likes.
Yeah.
That's it. There's really no freedom in it at all, and it feels so much better without it.
It's
guys,
actually exhausting.
Have to say. Instagram can go to...
Yeah, Facebook and Instagram, they definitely suck. I mean, if they won't tell...
You know what's happening now. It just started happening just recently, and now we're like, oh, well.
That's fine. Yeah.
Anyways. Oh, baby May.
It's okay. We're almost done, Gracie.
Yeah, I know, baby.
The animal industries also abuse the legal system to attack their competitors. For example, they've managed to get lawmakers to make it illegal in the entire European Union to call soy milk soy milk. Really? And in various U.S. states, a vegan burger can't legally be called a vegan burger anymore. Because you can't call it a burger because a burger has to contain corpse flesh.
I know where this is going.
So you can call it a plant-based patty. Moving on.
This is another form of gaslighting, by the way. I'll just keep reading.
These are just two examples out of many, and the industries are continuously pushing for more of these laws to make it impossible for plant-based competitors to market their products. Of course, their official story is that they're just trying to protect consumers from misleading labels so they don't get confused.
Because, oh my goodness.
Did you accidentally eat a vegan burger?
Did you accidentally go buy a vegan? Did you accidentally go into
Which never fucking happens. Sorry, I just got demonetized.
Brian.
I just got demonetized.
You can't do that.
Why not?
We need, by the way.
Did we just get demonetized?
I don't know, but now you
All
can
right.
go bleep it.
Well, donate in the chat to help us with the swear word that I just
To help fix what Brian just ruined for, for the animals that we care for.
For the animals.
Any super chat donations, please. Thank
Well,
you.
of course, they go to Antonio and Jackie.
We're to our animal rescue fund, which covers any of Antonio and Jackie's medical expenses.
Yes,
Thank
but
you.
this idea that vegan products will somehow suffer because they can't be labeled as a burger or as milk or as cheese, it hasn't stopped vegan products from selling, guys. If you go to Trader Joe's right now and you want to buy their house brand almond milk, guess what it says on the packaging?
Yeah.
It says almond beverage. People know it's almond milk. If they don't want dairy milk, they're going to buy the almond or the soy or the oat or the hemp or the rice or the coconut or the whatever. Insert your plant-based milk of choice. It doesn't matter what's on the label. This is a last-ditch effort for companies that are scared to try to handicap the other side, because they're not really doing it for them. Because if you've noticed, dairy companies aren't going after peanut butter. Even though it's called butter, and it's not butter because it's not made from cow milk, it's called peanut butter. They're not going after coconut milk, because coconut milk comes in a can. It's usually used for baking. Everyone knows it's coconut milk. It comes from coconut. No, they're going after the vegan alternative. So they're not actually trying to help their own sales. What they're trying to do is handicap the other team. It's like if two teams show up for a hockey match or something, and you're just like, well, how can we break that guy's ankle and break that guy's wrist and give that guy a knee sprain? Because we're not a good team, and we're not going to win this game if it's fair.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to hinder the other side as a last-ditch effort.
It's like grasping at straws. That's all they have left. Is like, let's no, you can't call it that. Like, I mean, come on.
Okay.
You can freedom of speech. You're not. I still don't understand. I still don't get it. Because people are going to go buy what they're going to go buy. Like, you have, generally when people go to the grocery store, one of two things. You have a list, you know what you're going to buy, and maybe along the way you go, oh, what's this? Let me look at it. Like, I mean, you read the label, you read the ingredients, you decide, you make a decision about that product. It's not like you accidentally grab the smart bacon instead.
Yeah.
First of all, you have to go to a separate section in the grocery store, because all plant-based products tend to have like a little refrigerated section in the corner, although that's changing. With the exception of Beyond Meat and Impossible Foods products, which are now integrated into the meat section. But that's also pretty good, because it encourages people to like have to see it, you know, because most meat eaters aren't going to go to the plant-based section, so they see it and they're like, oh, what's this? And from a marketing perspective, you put that in with the animal products, and it sort of sends this sort of like the subconscious message that this is somewhat equal to this.
Yep.
Why is it here? Oh, it must be because it's like this
It's
other
kind of the
thing.
same. I mean, there's also a little bit of, I think the newer plant-based companies are expecting this, and that's why they call their products what they call them, like Beyond Meat. We're not saying it's meat. We're saying it's beyond that. Society has evolved beyond meat. This is now a new product. Impossible Foods. This is, you know, and what was it? Oh, Just Egg. It used to be owned by Hampton Creek, and they got sued because people were saying that, well, you can't call it mayonnaise because it doesn't contain just eggs. It has plant-based ingredients, and their retort was, the word just is not, we're not using it in the way that you would use only. we're using it to mean it is
Justice.
justice. It is a just form of mayonnaise. It is just to buy these eggs. These are eggs if eggs were just.
Yeah.
Very smart in the way that they name their products. So now they can call it just egg, even though there's no egg in it. They've already factored that in. And then if what you're trying to do is control people's colloquial speech, I mean, just look at the guy who invented the GIF.
Yeah.
He wanted to call it the GIF, .gif. It's like graphic image file, I think.
But GIF makes more sense because
Graphic, right. So you can say, no, it's called GIF, and people will go, okay, hey, can I download that GIF? Like, people are just gonna say what they're gonna say. So you can say like, oh, you can't call the Beyond Burger a burger. Okay, can I order a Beyond Burger? Like,
yeah. It's like,
people are just gonna do it.
this is just like so off topic, but kind of on the same thread of thought, is when I first started fostering Sweetie and Frisky, when I first moved to California, I started fostering 2 cats, Sweetie and Frisky. Their names were initially Stella and Franny, and the man who no longer is he got so, because I don't know how Sweetie and Frisky, the name Frisky, came up, but I think he was very mad at me at one point for calling them that, and said that if I didn't call them Stella and Franny, then I could just give them back to him.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. You can just call them Sweetie and Frisky because they're in my house.
Yeah. You're like, they're Stella and Franny. Can I adopt them? Yes. Okay. And then you just go home and call them Sweetie and Frisky.
He insisted that Stella and Franny were more adoptable names. I don't get. Oh, that's why. Because Sweetie and Frisky were their original names, and I fought to keep their original names. That's what it was. And he wanted to give them new names, despite the fact that Sweetie was 9 at the time and Frisky was 6. And I was like, no, they've been used to their names
Just like
their whole
renaming
lives.
a human at middle age.
Yeah, he wanted to rename them, and I said, no, I'm gonna keep. And he's like, no, if you don't call them the names I gave them, you can give them back. And I was like, okay, fine.
All right. Yeah, it's just like, I think that's probably why margarine was first called margarine, because the butter was like, you can't call it vegan butter. It's like, okay, we'll call it margarine. Anyway, can I get vegan butter on this? Like, who cares?
Moving on.
Furthermore, the animal industries exploit people's lack of knowledge. For example, they often imply that more ingredients in plant-based products means they're automatically less healthy than animal products. Yes, because that just makes sense. Or they cherry pick certain plant-based products with sustainability problems like avocados or quinoa. Very common. Avocados though, quinoa though. As if vegans are the only people on the planet who eat avocados and quinoa.
And Moxmix said earlier, vegetable oil. Vegans are responsible for using too much vegetable oil. Moxmix.
Oh, only vegans eat vegetable oil?
Eat.
I wasn't aware of that.
There's
I was not aware of that.
Yeah, but I know you're not being, I think that was sort of intellectually dishonest, if I may say. Hold on, right here. Which pollutes the environment further. Yeah, so you're telling me, I mean, have you ever used vegetable oil? Have meat eaters not used vegetable oil ever? And that's assuming, because that's not a statistic. You say most vegans are using vegetable oil for cooking, which might or might not be the truth, because I don't know what. Yeah,
hold on a second. Most vegans are using vegetable oil. Citation needed? Evidence, please?
Well,
like, most vegans use vegetable oil?
But
Where are you pulling this out of? As if most meat eaters don't use. You're like, by saying most vegans use vegetable oil, you're implying that most meat eaters don't.
You've brought up other points that I do want to cover, because I think as usual, there's one devil's advocate in the chat. So
that's good.
And that would be you, Moxmix, as I'm sure you know. But there are some questions that I will cover that you've asked that seem. A couple of them that seem legit. And we will cover those. Just finish this section.
After the article?
Yeah. And there's also
yes.
some exciting news at the end of this video. I should have said this at the beginning. There is some exciting news. Not super, I mean, it's really exciting because I'm very excited. But stay to the end of this article to find out. I should have said this earlier. I'm so bad at advertising things.
You gotta tease it.
Yeah, I know.
We're no longer vegan, right? That's the surprise. This is our no longer vegan video.
No. Whoa, see what happened? The lights just went out for a second. Never
Really?
say that. No, we're not. That's not it.
No, that's not it.
Oh my gosh, that was so creepy. The lights flickered when you said that.
They did. Okay, so yes, they cherry pick avocados and quinoa and conveniently will leave out that most of the demand for these products come from meat eaters. Yes, exactly.
Nice. Yeah, that's it.
And that these products are not even an essential part of a plant-based diet. Exactly. If you want to be vegan and you don't want to eat quinoa,
you can do that.
You do you.
You don't have to eat avocados either.
You don't.
Or almonds. Throw them out the window.
Not if you don't want to. Or they emphasize that their products are, quote, local animal products, while leaving out that one person adopting a plant-based diet does more for the environment than seven people switching to local food.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yep.
Should I touch on these, or should we finish?
We'll finish it. How much more?
Or
can you go up here? Cultural gaslighting.
We're
almost done.
Yeah, we're almost done. Thanks for hanging out, sticking around. We're at the final stretch of this article, which is great. Lots to talk about. Cultural gaslighting. If, despite the manipulation, you decide to stop consuming animal products, society has a problem with that. Haven't we all experienced that?
Yep.
Even though research shows that meat eaters consider people who don't eat meat more virtuous, we've all heard the get off your high horse thing. Or you act like you think you're holier than thou.
Well, I think this is phrasing it as that meat eaters will admit that vegans are more virtuous, but they are under no obligation to stop eating meat.
Oh, okay, yeah. So they honestly think. Some will say it in a bad, negative.
Some people will couch it in a negative, but other people will say like, "Yeah, that's great that you're vegan. I'm going to continue abusing animals needlessly."
When your friends go like, "Hey, how's that vegan thing going? Oh, good for you. Good for you."
That's great. I could never do that, even though I see you standing before me perfectly actually healthier than me, but I could never do that.
No. Because my body,
I love cheese. Oh, you love cheese? You're the only human being who loves cheese on planet Earth. I don't know what cheese is how it's pronounced. I've never heard of this substance called cheese.
I was never addicted to cheese. What would I know about cheese? It's only the last thing I gave up, most people. It's possible. There's back when we went vegan, remember?
There was like 3 brands of vegan cheeses.
Daya.
There was Daya.
Which is Daya or Daya, I don't know. And that's it.
There was Follow Your Heart.
Really? Back then?
Yeah. They had like the bricks or the shreds, I think.
But they
didn't have the slices. I mean, they've much improved.
Chow, Go Veggie. Oh my gosh, every Trader Joe's now has their own brand. It's like amazing. Miyoko's. Yeah. Okay. So, sorry, I stopped mid-sentence. I hate when I do that. Even though research shows that meat eaters consider people who don't eat meat more virtuous, research also shows that they dislike them almost just as much as they dislike drug addicts.
Yeah.
That had to do with what we just talked about. And you're disliked more if you're doing it for the animals than if you're doing it for your own health. Yes.
Well, yeah.
How do you notice that?
That shines a light.
Because when you cite religious reasons or health reasons like allergies, for some reason people
immediately accepted.
Yeah, people don't have a problem with that. But the moment you say, "Oh no, I'm doing it for the animals. I don't want to cause them harm. I don't want to cause them suffering," that immediately the reason people get upset is because that immediately turns a mirror around on them, and so then they think, "Oh. Like I guess I'm causing animals pain and suffering," which is true, and they see that, and their initial reaction, but their initial reaction is to get defensive because defensiveness is a protective mechanism. It is what makes it more comfortable for people to avoid. People don't like confrontation. Yeah, it's such a big problem in society today. People do not like to confront themselves or others. Don't like to have conversations, or they avoid topics. It's just unhealthy. And that's just the way society is now, with social media being a blanket to hide behind. So anyways, even if you don't set out to talk about it, you run into a lot of gaslighting. People act like you're annoying. What? We've never heard that before.
We've never heard that one.
Preachy, pushy, militant for simply talking about it, even when they brought it up.
Yep.
People say they love animals while paying for them to be killed. People act like you have a superiority complex when you're the only one not feeling superior to animals. People say they respect that you don't want to have animals killed, and therefore you should also respect that they do. People claim that the animals are treated well and killed humanely while refusing to watch any footage. Thank you. This is so well written. Thank you, Robin.
I don't know who Robin Shaper is, but he's kind of crushing it.
Yeah,
right now.
He's the author of Questioning Meat, free at questioningmeat.com. Ooh, we'll have to take a look at that because he is, this sums it up so perfectly.
He's kind of killing it right now.
People insist there are essential nutrients that you can only get from animal products, even when shown proof that there aren't.
That's common.
Oh, yeah, people don't know what their dog died.
That's a common human thing. People, even politics, whatever, like you'll go, here's proof that you're wrong. And people are like, no, I'm still right. And you're like,
nutrition conspiracy theorists.
Okay.
By the way, I mean, this is a little bit of entitlement here, but we have an Alexa. And Alexa helps me. Oh, I might have activated her, but Alexa helps me with a lot of my nutrition questions, such as, Alexa, what vitamins are in a potato?
One medium potato has 32% of the daily recommended intake of vitamin B6, 5% of the daily recommended intake of vitamin K, and 70% of the daily recommended intake of vitamin C.
Yeah.
Did you know that a potato has vitamin C?
Yeah,
70%.
70%.
Alexa, thank you.
One potato.
Yes, and so...
My pleasure. Just doing my job.
So this is a little entitled, but we can look it up now. We have access to this information. It's not a secret. And
now you can
still,
just plug stuff in and just go,
are
how
like,
much vitamin A is in a carrot? And then you just know it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay.
Did you know that one medium carrot has your entire day's worth of vitamin C?
Vitamin A.
Vitamin A?
Vitamin A.
Yeah.
It has more than that.
More,
It's
like 200% or something crazy.
Yeah, a sweet potato is like 600%
You
or
can
700%.
look this up on Google. Yeah. Okay, people are okay with seeing meat ads every day of their lives, but dismiss verifiable facts about the industries as vegan propaganda.
Yep.
People say you're choosing animals over humans, even though your choice benefits both, etc. All of those things. In a healthy environment, people would be thrilled to find out that we can end animal exploitation and improve our health and the environment at the same time. We would all be working together to close slaughterhouses immediately. So why do people side with the animal abusers and gaslight anyone who doesn't? Because eating and using animal products is a form of cultural narcissism.
Yep.
So stand up to these people, guys. Like, I mean, we've been talking to so many of you. I mean, so many of you for a long time, and
there's a lot of repeat folks in the chat.
Not repeat folks. We don't call repeat folks.
No, I'm saying
long-time friends.
No, but we also get long-time contrarians or long-time trolls or long-time
right. But I'm talking
meat eaters.
To the vegans.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying.
No.
Gotcha.
Let me finish.
Yeah.
So, for those of us who have been in this for a while, it's time to stand up. Like, we're so used to that. We know all the answers is not the way to put it. I think we have a good grasp on how to answer many questions, and we've heard the same arguments repeated over and over again, the same questions asked, and I think by now it would be kind of unacceptable to not put your foot down and be like, you know what? You don't feel comfortable, like, take a look at yourself. Like if someone has a problem with you not eating meat, turn it back around and be like, why do you have a problem with veganism? What does that say about you? Not redirect it. Turn the mirror back around. Because at this point we know that it's becoming more acceptable, I think, but I know a lot of people still have issues, within their families, in their circle of friends, and really just put a stop to it. It sounds drastic and almost too easily said than done. Easier said than done, but it's time.
But I honestly think I think the first time that you tell someone why you're vegan, not if it's a work situation where you're dealing with coworkers or friends or family members or whatever, it can be kind of nerve-wracking or scary, or a coworker might say something about vegans and you actually have a retort, or you have a response. Sharing that response can be scary, but I guarantee you, the first time you do it, it'll be scary. Every single time after that, it just kind of becomes second nature.
Yeah.
Like when people will make snarky comments about, I wear a vegan shirt to work every single day. Every day I wear a vegan shirt. So obviously my coworkers know I'm vegan. My boss knows I'm vegan. Oh.
Just making sure that's...
Oh.
Oops.
Oh, my mic?
Yeah, mine too, because
this is not necessarily a vegan shirt, but I don't wear this to work. But so anytime customers come by and they see my shirt, there are sometimes it'll spark a conversation. It's always a form of activism.
Available on Etsy.
Yeah.
By the way, our Etsy store.
And you can change they can be like, oh, you're vegan, that's cool. Yeah, I tried it once and I couldn't get over blah, 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 blah. And you can go, well, actually, and you can actually start a conversation. Or in the instance where someone...
I think wearing vegan apparel is actually a very good way. Apparel with a vegan message is a very good way to do your activism, because if people bring it up, then they brought it up first.
Yep.
So it takes the pressure off of you to feel like you need to say something. If people don't bring it up, then at least they saw it and they got the message, or maybe we'll look into it later, or maybe bring it up later, or whatever. But throws the ball in their court.
Yes. And I think not just with veganism, but just with anything, I think, in life, if you simply live if you're just a happy, healthy, positive individual, then you are a living example of being a happy, healthy, positive individual living your own lifestyle. So what I mean by that is I wear vegan apparel. I also try to be sort of a happy, healthy example of someone who lives vegan. So there's very little pushback on well, is it good for you? Is it healthy? Can you be, I'm not a bodybuilder, so there isn't that question of building muscle, but just simply being a positive, happy example of an individual, and then also letting people know that you're vegan, that also tends to just get rid of those surface level comments right away.
And you're more used to it than I am, because Brian I work from home, and Brian actually has more interactions with people, and he's gotten so much more used to having these conversations now, just with clients and stuff.
Yeah. And a lot of time it's it's hardly ever controversial when it's face to face. That's the difference between the internet.
Yes. Yes.
And actually having face to face usually when you have a face to face conversation with someone, it's a very positive and pleasant experience.
Yeah, there's curiosity. There's none of this stuff you see on Instagram, because people hide behind the veil of social media, of the anonymity that is social media.
Like
But
the stuff that trolls tell us online, people would never say that to our face.
Yeah, yeah. Let's go through some comments.
Sure.
Moxmix apparently, I think, has just stated that they are vegan. You said I am a vegan because it is unnecessary to eat meat and animal products.
All right.
But I mean, I guess I'm confused because the tone of your previous comments have sort of.
What were the
I don't know.
what were the
I don't
previous
know. Maybe
comments?
you were being genuine. I don't know. But the comment I wanted to early on, you asked, do you think that eating animals is enough, or should we stop doing other things that make us feel good, like having long hair and using lots of shampoo, which pollutes the environment, thus killing animals? Well, the thing with veganism is we go by the definition of veganism, which is we do the best we can do as far as is possible and practicable. So
it's a doctrine against animal exploitation.
Yes.
Ultimately.
I mean, because I think the most impact you can have as a vegan is refraining from purchasing animal products or products of animal cruelty, and that includes personal care and household products, makeup, what have you.
Yeah.
And every time you learn, I'm a huge advocate of every time you learn something new, you can't unlearn it. So now that you know that this product is not cruelty free, then don't buy it anymore. Switch to something else.
And you'll build an arsenal of, well, I know this shampoo, this brand. I know these 5 brands are vegan, so
Yeah.
you know, if I see them in the store, you know, they're safe.
So I don't know that when you say, you know, doing things that make us feel good, like if you find out that a product is not cruelty free, then you know, then you have to weigh, well, does it make me feel good to purchase this product versus using a different product for my hair, that kind of thing.
I think he or she, I don't know, I think Moxmix is making the utilitarian argument, it seems. Like, well, you bring up an example like having long hair, which uses lots of shampoo. First of all, I used to have shoulder length hair. I used the same amount of shampoo. I don't know that long-haired people use, you would have to prove first that long-haired people use more shampoo. But let's just assume what you're saying is it better to use more shampoo or less shampoo? Obviously, it's bad to be wasteful and to just use shampoo willy-nilly. But I think the core of your comment is getting to, like, are we obligated to just stop doing everything that makes us feel good, even though it might be plant-based? So consuming a lot of Beyond Burgers, for example, that's a perfectly vegan, plant-based thing to do, but is it ultimately good for the planet? You're kind of treading on utilitarianism there a little bit, which, as we've always brought up in debates before, if you're going to argue from a utilitarian point of view, the natural conclusion that you would come to is like, okay, if I want to cause the least amount of harm possible, the logical thing for me to do would be to end my own life. Because that'll cause zero harm.
Mm-hmm.
So it means that would cause zero gluttony, zero waste, zero damage to the environment. I would no longer accidentally step on ants or hit mosquitoes with my car. Yeah, so if you're arguing from a utilitarian point of view, ultimately I think you'd have to concede that everyone should just everyone should just not exist. That would do the zero harm.
But we're not.
Which is completely unreasonable.
It's unreasonable, it's
and impractical.
It's just not the way it is or should be.
And veganism and utilitarianism are two different things.
I think a better idea is to learn how to live with this world, not off of it.
Yeah. So do we advocate like not wasting things? Yes. Should you use less plastic? Yes. Should you try to buy used, pre-owned? Yes. Like there are things not related to veganism that we personally wish more people would do, but they're not related to veganism.
Still shocked. I think that one of the things that post-veganism that I've been more conscious of and more aware of is the tremendous amount of plastic on this, just
Yeah,
everywhere.
it's a problem.
Everywhere, and it's really hard to get. Do you know Japan is actually banning plastic wrapping around fruits and vegetables? Which
I think Europe.
wasn't it Japan?
I thought it was Europe. I could be wrong.
Let me see. But
Japan might be doing it too, which definitely makes sense. Excuse me.
No, it's.
Is it Japan?
I can't find it now. It just says that Japan wraps everything in plastic. Now it wants to fight against plastic pollution. This
from
is 2019. This was recent. I could have sworn it was. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is. I can look it up. Hold on. But someone is banning, and I have to, as much as we love Trader Joe's, heavily disappointed in how, like, they wrap potatoes in plastic.
Trader Joe's is horrible.
Horrible when it comes to
Because
plastic.
they make you choose between organic,
Yeah.
which is wrapped in plastic, or non-organic, which is typically not wrapped in plastic. And you're
Yeah.
just like, why do I have this Sophie's Choice at the grocery store?
I get it that organic tends to spoil faster. Duh, obviously, because it's organic. But I don't think plastic wrap is the answer. There's got to be something else. Come on, scientists of the world. But Spain here it says, maybe it was Spain, 2021. Spain to ban plastic wrap for fruits and veggies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sorry,
Yeah.
not Japan. I don't know where I got Japan.
Didn't we used to not wrap fruits and vegetables in plastic, like before plastic wrap was invented? How did we survive?
I know.
How did we get by in the 50s and
We
60s?
got more B12 back then, I bet. But no, another loophole that I absolutely despise. So California banned single-use plastic bags, but the plastic companies found a loophole, and they still make these plastic bags, and these grocery stores still carry them. And the loophole is now they say this bag can be reused 129 times or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care that that's what it says. People are not going to reuse plastic bags. That's just not the way people are used to doing things.
I think they heard like, oh, you want reusable bags? Okay, let's just write
Let's just
reusable
make them
on the
thicker.
plastic.
Let's just make them thicker and less compostable. And
Well, we'll just write reusable on it. We'll just say
well, they're thicker now, which is worse.
Yes.
It's worse for the planet.
it's more plastic.
And it's thicker, and it just will never decompose. And it's such a.
It's insane.
I'm so mad at these grocery stores and like everyone. Bring your reusable bags. Bring and if you forget them, just ask for paper. Sometimes I end up, if I would leave my reusable, because sometimes that happens, we forget our reusable bags in the car, and we just end up carrying everything to the car. Or depending on how far it is.
if it's out there, or we'll just take the cart to the car and then fill up the bags.
Plastic. Okay.
Bo wants to ask a question. Oh,
No, Bo said, if you guys go ex-vegan, I'm throwing in the towel.
Yeah.
That will never
Won't
happen.
happen.
Mark our words. Never.
Yeah.
I cannot.
Unless the definition of veganism becomes one who wants to murder all carnivore animals.
But guys,
You guys catch that debate with Vegan Foot
That's gotta
Soldier?
be a different video.
That'll be a different
That's
video.
a different video. Did
That
you
was
know?
rough.
Did you
That was
know?
rough.
No, you can intro it while I look through here.
Oh, I'm constantly confused by this new idea that's like seemingly infecting certain quadrants of the vegan movement. This idea that carnivorous animals by nature should be killed, should be exterminated, or should be made extinct.
I have so many things to say about this, but that's why it has
Which,
to be.
I mean, number one would be human beings are the number one animal killers on the planet. So if you're against animals who kill animals, you're automatically against most humans.
Number two.
That's just the basic logic.
Chickens, who are the most abused land animal on the planet by the animal ag industry, chickens are omnivores. That would mean that we'd have to kill all the chickens
Yeah.
as well.
And I guess you can eat if you kill a carnivore because it's the ethical thing to do is kill a carnivore, what's the harm in eating a carnivore?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So now I guess we can eat chicken as vegans?
3, people making this idiotic statement, because it is idiotic. I am sorry. No, I'm not sorry. It is idiotic. People, they're not thinking past step 1. The fact that if you remove, people are very often not aware of the various levels of repercussions that one choice can make. Removing all carnivores from the planet, which, by the way, 1, impossible, 2, no one will ever agree to it, 3, immoral, unethical, but 4, should be first and foremost, really, the repercussions that that could have on the planet and on herbivorous animals are even too incomprehensible to delineate. I mean, it's not even worth arguing. It's
do we need to do a video on that? I mean,
we kind of just made one. We just made it. It's really kind of stupid.
I mean, what was crazy though in that debate, I remember like when asked like, why don't you just start killing meat-eating humans? Because obviously humans who eat meat are immoral and therefore they don't have a right to life and they can be killed. The response was, well, it's impractical and illegal to do so. Not that it's immoral to do so. The response was, it's impractical and illegal to do so, which then I would go back and say, well, yes, but murdering all lions on planet Earth is also impractical, and I'm pretty sure there's like, anti-poaching laws that would also prevent you from killing all lions in Africa. So killing non-human carnivores is also impractical and illegal. So what?
Yeah.
Like both are impractical and illegal, yet you support one and not the other. And
Flying Pig said,
insane.
and that's why I dumped the idea of becoming a breatharian.
Breatharian, yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, because that's the only way you can cause zero harm, right? Is to just sit in your home all day long and only breathe.
So Bo agrees. What are you responding to, asks GS, who actually advocates killing all carnivores? That sounds like a total straw man. Oh,
it exists.
I don't think you would be surprised if you knew who was.
No, there's a certain sect of vegan YouTube that will advocate killing carnivores because
2 people that we know of.
2 people
have
for sure
argued this. I don't know.
But I think they're doing some utilitarian.
Bring on the wrath of these people.
I think it's when you go too far down a utilitarian rabbit hole, you end up with this type of insane thinking. Just like, oh, I guess I should just end my own life because I want to cause as little harm as possible, so that's how I can cause as little harm as possible.
No.
Like, I should just not exist. That's the type of rabbit hole you will go down. So like, okay, I'm trying to maximize all animal, I'm trying to minimize all animal harm and suffering. So it makes sense then all carnivores just need to die because I'm trying to minimize all animal suffering. Like, completely impractical, completely undoable.
Narcissistic, egotistical.
It will lead you
to assume that you can all of a sudden play God, which is what we're trying to get people away from doing. It's like thinking that they can just play God with the planet and do whatever the F they want to it and to the animals. And you think that your plan is going to work because why? I don't know.
GS, I really do want to know, do you mean Humane Hancock? No, not just Humane Hancock. There's a whole sect of vegan YouTube that agrees with this philosophy.
We've met him.
We met Jack. We met him in England. He's
very sweet guy.
He's nice.
But that doesn't mean we agree with everything that he says. Just like we just watch our last video on YouTube just because vegans can disagree.
Vegans can disagree
on various things.
Yeah, and Jack is really
perfectly nice person.
And he does great street debate.
And he does great street debates.
Great street debates. Perfectly nice guy. We had dinner with him while we were at the Animal Rights March in London.
Yeah.
We simply disagree on murdering all carnivores on planet Earth. And that's fine because that's not related to veganism. That's some utilitarian rabbit hole that people go down. It's the definition of vegan is the doctrine that man should live without exploiting animals. We're trying to not exploit animals. It has nothing to do with going out into the woods and seeking out mountain lions to kill them.
I had 4 points before. I'll add a 5th one, and that is, imagine trying to convince meat eaters, non-vegans, that this should be the way of the world.
Yes.
We already have trouble enough.
We're vegan, so we go kill tigers in Siberia.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Okay, guys. I think it's
Yeah.
time to wrap this up. And I know you guys have been chatting a bunch, and I've been reading them. If you have any specific questions
Bo
that
asked
you want
us.
us to read,
Sorry.
go ahead.
Bo asked us. Bo tagged us specifically and said, this is not exactly a question, but I find food and clothing easy as a vegan, but I think it's shampoo and conditioner and body cream that's more murky. Vegan, but is it tested on animals? Well, by definition, something labeled vegan cannot be tested on animals. I think what you mean is it could be cruelty-free, but not vegan.
Yeah.
But if it's vegan, it must be cruelty-free.
Yeah.
So those two terms are not interchangeable, and so a lot of times
You should look for both.
you should look for both,
Just to make sure.
but I don't know how a product could be labeled vegan and still test on animals. But there are plenty of products that don't test on animals, but they will contain animal products.
Yeah.
It's weird,
I know.
we know,
Because,
but
you know, some people don't think that honey is
Right.
a problem, or lanolin, which comes from sheep's wool, and so on and so forth.
yeah. So
Um,
yes, if something is just labeled cruelty-free, you can't guarantee that it's vegan. An app that we use as a guide, it's not perfect, but it's a guide. It's called Cruelty Cutter. You can download this app. It's free, and it actually has a little thing where you can scan barcodes in the store. And if it's in the Cruelty Cutter database as being cruelty-free, that helps. But then also be sure to check the ingredients, because if we made a video about this,
yeah.
a lot of the times they just don't count bee products.
Yeah.
So beeswax or
And
things
sometimes,
like that.
like even if it says, because I was looking at some stuff today and reading some ingredient labels, and there was one product that said vegetarian. You have to be careful because you know, obviously they're different, vegan and vegetarian, and it didn't say in bold. It usually says in bold when it contains milk products, but this particular product contained an ingredient that is a derivative of milk, and it said it in parentheses. It just, for some reason, because it's not milk per se, but it's an ingredient from milk, then they're allowed to put it in with
Yes.
the rest of the ingredients, not in bold.
yeah.
You get used
When
to
it's not
you
the
know,
whole product.
You get used to this, to scanning. It's like almost like speed reading. You get so used to it, you know what to look for, and it just pops out at you like that. You know, a very
Yeah.
good thing to do is read ingredients labels. I don't know who doesn't like doing that, because we should know what we're putting in our bodies.
Yep. And you might make a mistake and you might buy something that's not vegan. And our recommendation,
We've made that
mistake. Our recommendation is return it to the store. And you might say to yourself, but Brian, they're probably just going to throw it out anyway. Good. Go back to the store and inform them the reason that you're returning it. Say, I didn't realize this wasn't vegan. It says cruelty-free. It's not vegan. Then they will have to eat the cost of that product to give you your refund back. That will train the store to go, oh, okay. If enough people do that, like even at restaurants, if they bring you food and you asked for it to be vegan and it wasn't vegan, send it back. If you buy something that's not vegan, send it back, because that will constantly tell stores, restaurants, companies, oh,
They
this,
need to improve
yes,
on.
oh, this vegan thing is important to a lot of people, and
Yeah.
we've been eating a lot of returns,
Yeah.
so we need to fix this.
Yeah.
Like, that's how you can make small amounts of change. Angry Vegan says, I saw a product that was labeled vegan but contained beeswax. Yes, that can happen.
Yeah, I think we need to wrap up. And what I wanted to say was, so the news that I wanted to share with
Yes.
you. And also, if you have any outstanding questions, very important questions that you want to ask, and you want to throw us a super chat, we will be happy to read them out loud at this point, because I know we haven't read everyone's comments, and we want to make sure that your voice gets heard. And we appreciate any super chats and any what I'm getting to, Etsy.
Mhm.
So we're trying
Want me
something
to
new.
show this?
Yeah, we're trying something new on Etsy. I just like recently got inspired to try this because apparently you can sell digital downloads
Mhm.
on Etsy, and it's I started designing
You said
animal rights posters.
Mhm. You said you wanted to show them how they search.
Yeah, so if you go on Etsy, you type those annoying vegans in the search bar, you'll have to go here where it says, did you mean the shop, those annoying vegans?
Yeah.
So click on
You can
that,
click
and
that.
then that'll just send you right to our shop.
There
so
we are.
yeah, there we are. You can scroll down. So this has been really rewarding because I love being creative, and I love art and drawing. You got your mouse pad wet. That's what happened.
Yeah, I know.
Hold on.
That's okay.
So
So here we are.
you can scroll. Can you scroll?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can see these items here.
there's some. So I designed those, and you can download them, and you'll get
Mhm.
most of them are 4 different dimensions, which I kind of took off the Vistaprint website.
They're like poster sizes.
Yeah,
right?
they're like poster sizes. If you want to display them in your house, if you want to use them at a vigil, if you want to use them, I don't know, anywhere.
Yeah, you can
And so they'll
print these out and
once you add them to your cart, once you buy them,
look at that.
it'll send you a link, and you just click on that link, and it'll download the 4 different dimensions in PNG format.
Mm-hmm.
High definition 300 DPI.
Great for printing.
Yes.
And you can just send the images. I mean,
That one I finished yesterday.
that's great.
And so yeah, and anything you contribute through Etsy goes directly to our. Oh shoot! I have to
You gotta
fix
fix the title. Yeah.
I'll do that in a second, because I had so many that I did this week, and I just had to like copy and replace some information. Oh, thank you for that.
That's okay. I like this one. This one's always good.
This is
cow
this
milk?
is actually a sticker as
It's a
well.
sticker also.
A sticker, but I redid the font.
Mhm.
I did that by hand because I had to fit it in the dimensions.
So yeah, it's a really
Easy way.
easy and affordable form of vegan activism. You know, just like with the stickers and the pins, like they're affordable, they're easy, you can put them on anything, and with these digital downloads, you know, it was completely your idea. You thought, well, hey, people can you can frame it, hang it in your house, you can print it on a cardstock, take it to a vigil. You know, there's so many different applications. You could also print it to a sticker and put that sticker on your car.
Yeah.
Or on your computer
And
or
it
anything.
says the dimensions that they are, so you know how to go about printing them. But thank you so much, Bo. Thank you so much for your donation. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Bo.
I like his
And Jackie
bow
and
arrow, his bow and arrow.
yes,
If that's how you pronounce it,
you
Bo.
pronounce it Bo. Thank you for saying my name right, he says.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Bo. Thank you to all of our Patreon patrons. That really, really, really helps.
So much.
You guys
have no idea.
maybe you do have an idea
Maybe.
if you're a Patreon patron, but I mean, we have so many patrons that just donate $1 a month. It's not very little, it's a lot. I mean, any amount helps, because when you're taking care of rescue animals,
A lot comes up.
a lot comes up. Like next week, Jackie's going in for a checkup, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
we're
going in
taking
for
her
a
in.
checkup. She has a little gurgle in the throat. Sometimes, not all the time. She probably won't do it when she's at the vet, which is why I had to postpone this week's appointment to next week, because then I'm like, well, at least maybe let me try and film it. Maybe I can get... It's only when she gets agitated, but still, that didn't used to happen. But again, you know, Jackie is... She came off of a slaughter truck. I don't know what she was vaccinated against. I don't know... this could be... I don't know. This could be an allergy, or it could be a reaction to the heating that's coming through our vents. I don't know.
The season's changing, the weather's changing.
But I don't want to just let it sort of go and hope that it goes away, because we've learned otherwise. And so now I'm just like taking her in to make sure.
Preventative care is always best.
Yes. Casey Berger, thank you so much
Thank you,
for
Casey.
your donation.
$1.99.
Appreciated
Thank
so
you.
much. That goes directly into our animal rescue fund.
Gave us a thumbs up. We'll give you a thumbs up.
You can go
cool.
back and.
You want to look at the other ones? I like this one actually.
Oh yeah.
This
Some
poster
are.
I like.
Some are.
This one, it's very simple,
Mhm.
but I like the black and pink.
And I made some black and white too, so it's
Yeah, I think we have like a black
My
and white.
phone?
That is your phone.
Pardon me. I don't know who's calling me this late unless it's
It's probably our delivery.
Oh shoot. Yes, it is. Hello? Hello?
This one's great too.
Hello? Yes? Yes. I can't hear you. I'm sorry. Are you outside?
I'll go.
Oh, yes, I see it. I'm right here. Thank you.
Arya's coming, so you might want to shut that. Yeah. So yeah, these we try to do like a color and a black and white version on these prints. And this is a great one. Love the image. And Anna has like a digital drawing pad that she draws designs poster work. This one here, if I were a dog, would you care? Some of these were actually posters that we made to take to vigils. And and there's this guy. Oh, I see. Navigating. OBS. So yeah, that's the latest addition to our Etsy page. I have these little prints.
And I have more coming.
And Anna has more coming. Yes.
I'm making them every week.
Yeah, we're gonna make. I say we, but she's the artist, and she's gonna be making more every week and uploading them. So if you guys want either the just keep it as a digital print, or you can send it somewhere to get printed. That is that. Let me check the chat here. Lower the line. Oh, Zachary Klein. Thank you so much, Zachary Klein. Zachary Klein just donated $10.
Thank you.
Zachary says, Aria?
Make sure I didn't leave the premises. Aria Rose.
Rosita?
Aria.
Aria?
Chi-chi.
Aria?
Chi-chi.
I don't think she would have left.
No, I
Did
don't
you see her?
think so. I was right there. I'll just. Perfect. Aria Rose. Chi-chi. Chi-chi. Usually responds right
Who just jumped down?
Aria Rose. Chi-chi.
You look in our bedroom? Where did you see her last?
Aria Rose. Chi-chi.
Rosita?
Come, Aria Rose. Chi-chi. Oh, there she is. Okay.
Hey, Miss Rose.
Okay, baby Rose. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Zachary Klein, thank you again so much for your $10. Zachary says, hey guys, I've been vegan since August of 2016. I think we went vegan around January of 2016, so almost as the same length of time. You guys really helped me in the beginning of my journey. Love you guys. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you, Zachary. And Antonio and Jackie, thank you as well. Catherine Green says she's only been vegan since April of 2020, but
There's
that's
no
okay.
only.
There's no only. You're vegan now, and that's
all that matters.
what matters.
Everyone has an only.
Hi, Moose.
Mimi.
Mox Mix says paint also pollutes the environment as well as the production of paint. Yes, the production of housing for human beings causes damage to the environment. The production of shoes.
Contains animal products.
The production of roads, the production of furniture, the production of paper, the production of coffee, the production of iPhones and computers and Bitcoin, and we could list all of the things. That's why we're saying this utilitarianism rabbit hole is just that.
Yeah.
You just end up going, oh, I guess humans shouldn't exist. That's what Ultron came to the conclusion of. If you'll recall in the Avengers movie, Age of Ultron, Ultron was created to protect the planet. And what Ultron realized was, oh, humans are screwing up the planet. So maybe I should just kill all the humans. Utilitarianism.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
We have to go. We have to let you go because I know it's late in some parts of the country.
I'll never let you go, Jack.
I just rewatched
never let you
Titanic
go.
yesterday. Stop. That's going to make me cry.
Alrighty, guys. I think we've been live for 2 hours now. Yep, 2 hours and 5 minutes.
Yes. Thank you for sticking around
Thank
and
you
for
so much.
joining us. And we will. There's another article we wanted to discuss with you that Brian found, and now he forgot where to find it.
Kind of forgot what it was.
So you have to
You
go
gotta
look for
re-find
it.
it. But if you guys want us to respond to an article, to a video, to a topic, you let us know in the comments. We check the comments. We read all the comments. I know we don't respond to all the comments, but we read them.
Also, please let us know. Do you like these long format videos, or do you prefer the shorter format videos, or do you like both? Because we've been trying to figure that out. It seems some people are really into long format videos, and some people just really like a quick little,
Like 5 minute thing.
5 minute, 10-minute thing.
But then YouTube's algorithm favors 10 to 20 minute videos.
Yeah, so we're like, I gotta
like,
balance it out, but I really want to, it's really what you guys want to see.
Yeah.
What do you want to see? What haven't we covered? Are we missing anything?
I don't know.
We've been at this for 5 years or so.
Pretty simple.
6?
Just don't exploit
Will
animals
it be 7
needlessly.
next year? Am I jumping the gun?
2022? Yeah, that'll be 7 years. No, that'll be 6 years
6 years vegan?
in January.
God, it feels like forever.
We're almost 6 years vegan right now.
Oh,
Because in like 2 months.
okay.
Well, it'll be our. We don't have a vegan anniversary. Sorry.
We don't know.
We
what
don't
it
remember
is.
the day we went vegan. We just know that we did one grocery trip and we didn't buy cheese, and that was our first vegan grocery haul, and then we just kept doing that.
Yeah, I like tried to track it down on Facebook, like what had I posted, and I was like, ooh, is this pizza is this vegan? I don't know.
Yeah.
Why is there
Like when you go
fly
back
in
through.
the house at this hour? Oh,
I say probably the lights. It's probably
yeah.
attracted to the lights.
Okay.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much to everyone who donated today in the chat. Thank you so very much to all of our patrons on Patreon. As you guys, as we've said many times, all of our profit on Etsy, all of our YouTube AdSense revenue, and all of our super chats and
we have
Patreon money, that all goes towards our animal rescue fund. We have a fund set aside to take care of the animals that we have rescued. So the animals thank you. We thank you. And until next time, bye.
That was kind of weird. Hold on.
Bye. And then we turn around and walk like
Like in our old videos when our kitchen was the size of a cubicle.
No, I was thinking of Superbad. What's his name? And he's like, okay, bye. And he just
that
walks down the hallway.
scene. That's like my favorite scene in Superbad. When he's like, bye.
Oh, Zachary says try doing an H3 type podcast, vegan videos, long form videos where you can go through current events.
I know.
That's
Brian
kind of
wants
what
to
these
do
are, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of what these are.
Oh.
Anyway, bye guys.
Bye.
And stream.